Oh man, this workout, I honestly thought it couldn't get much tougher than the Pro Contender glycolytic workout, but I think this is definitely topped it for me. It might be training as a whole for me and just being generally fatigued, but this one had my legs much more beaten up than anything I've done recently. Now let's go over the workout so you're prepared for this one and all of the suffering and all of the benefits that it brings. Kicking things off with the easy bit, the warm-up. Much like the other workouts, the warm-up was all good for me, and although it seems boring, I actually think the warm-up and the primer efforts in particular do a really great job at getting me fired up and actually make me getting into the first part of the workout that much more easy, to be honest. I've had it so many times where I've signed up to a Zwift race and I've not warmed up properly, literally just jumping on a few minutes before the start and getting after it from the gun. But I've noticed that's not the best way of doing things, and I really suffer in that first part of the race. It's going from nothing to a hard effort all of a sudden feels like such a big jump. Whereas if you warm up properly and you build into it, I think psychologically and physically, these warm-ups really do help. Here we go, the second workout of the pro workouts, or the first workout, so I did it the wrong way around. But this one looks to be the harder one, so it's an hour and 20 long. And those free ride sections, we now know, aren't as easy as I thought they were going to be. So I think this is going to be absolutely savage. Let's quickly whiz through the warm-up then and then into the main fun section. You have 5 minutes at 60%, then you've got 3 minutes at 70%, 2 minutes at 80%, and then 3 minutes at 55% to settle in a little bit before the primer efforts. All right, so far so good. So that's basically the warm-up done. A couple minutes here, nice and chill, and then into a big block of primers really. That's going to be quite intense by the looks of it, to be honest. Here we go. I think the primer efforts are really important and it's a nice way to focus in. You have 2 blocks of 2 minutes at roughly FTP, 30 seconds at 130%, then coming back down to a steady but still working 3 minutes at 65%. One more primer block to do. They're pretty savage at the time, but in the 3 minute recovery period I am seeming to recover fairly nicely, so, but they're pretty intense. And then we've got 10 minutes kind of cool down type thing, and then we're into the real fun stuff, the real work. And once you've done those two, you have 10 minutes at 65% to be fully prepared but not knackered for the first big test. Okay, 1 more minute recovering, and then we've got our first test, 4 minute full gas effort. So it's not an outright sprint because it's still 4 minutes, so you can't just fully go for it. There has to be a little bit of pacing involved, but it's got to be full gas, and I'm expecting it to be pretty tough. Let's see how we do. The first big test then is a 4 minute max effort, looking at finding your maximum aerobic capacity. Now 4 minutes doesn't seem like a long time, and it isn't, but it's not a short sprint either, and it's not a slow long effort. Which I think is what makes this super tough. It's kind of a middle ground. And 4 minutes for me also reminds me of where the lactic acid really does some work, with it lasting between 30 seconds to 3 minutes normally. And generally the lower intensity, the longer the lactic acid system can work. But considering you're going all out for 4 minutes here, it's an absolute beast. And there's not enough time to get oxygen into the muscles, so pyruvate obviously builds, and we get that lactic acid feeling progressively building in the legs, and it's not going to clear at all at such high intensities. So it's a really hard test, this 4 minute section. So just know you can make it through the 4 minutes, but it's going to be pretty painful. Just get your head in the game, dig deep, put your head down, don't look at the clock. I think that's the worst thing you can do on this sort of an effort, and just drive all the way, give it a big push, and then you get to recover afterwards. With that done, absolutely savage. You now get 10 minutes at 55% of FTP, and you're trying to clear the lactic acid in that time and just recover as much as possible. So really testing how your body can recover after such an intensive surge. Just try and spin the legs out as much as possible, take on some nice deep breaths, get as much oxygen as possible, take on some water, and recover best you can. From here, we then get a big 10-minute block at just below FTP to induce some muscular fatigue now before the final test. This is going to show how well you can get back up to power for a sustained effort after that lengthy 4-minute burn. Then this is pretty savage. We've got just 3 minutes to recover here before the big one. Again, chasing that recovery, so the better riders are going to be the ones that can put out a good effort, then recover well, and ultimately do best in this 12-minute capacity test. Now I'm interested, comment below if you've done any of the pro workouts or you're thinking of doing them and how you got on. Yes, so you can now chill, the hard work has been done after the 12-minute section. It's an incredible feeling, and pacing is obviously really important here. And you're at a big advantage if you know your numbers well. It's not a long amount of time, but it's an endurance effort, that's for sure. And obviously you want to get the best possible average power you can. So you can't take it easy, but you also can't push too hard at the start because you'll just blow up and you'll not make it through the 12 minutes and get a good average power. I also think mindset comes in big here. With so much work already banked in this one, and you still have the biggest effort to come before that 12 minutes, you really have to psych yourself up and get into the right place to make sure you can get the best possible results. You know, it would just be easy to go through the motions here and not be able to push yourself because all of the previous work. So you do have to get really pumped up for it and dig deep all the way to the line. Now, with the 2 pro workouts done, I can safely say the longer one was the harder one for me, and they're both harder than any of the other Zwift Academy workouts I've done so far. But really nice tests to give a go, and with them being free ride tests, anybody can do them and push themselves equally hard to whatever levels they want to, and have an awesome workout and take home all of the benefits. You can access the pro workouts in the workout folder, and now I'm ultimately scared of free ride sections. But subscribe and like for all of the suffering, and I'll see you in Zwift Academy Workout 4.